Hey, you guys, I'm back. I'm unwashed, I'm uncombed, I'm wild and woolly. I just got back. Well, that's a lie. I got back about 2 o'clock this afternoon, and I've been up in the bed with pork for a lot of it. So many crazy things happened on this trip. It was one of the strangest ones I've ever been on, and it was topped off by the fact that I had a 5 hour layover today. I never had a layover that long for a long, long time. What happened was American Airlines, in their wisdom, completely canceled my flights on Tuesday and dropped the ball. So I had to, hey, uh, uh, they dropped the ball and they canceled my flights. So I haven't even been able to, I haven't been able to get online. I haven't been able to get on YouTube. YouTube has said, well, we'll let you get back online again, but you got to use this password. Well, they said the password to my Costa Rican phone, which does not work in the States. Hey, Sincere. Hey, Aaron. The funniest part of the whole day was this morning. I had to grab my blankets and show you guys. I had to buy a new blanket. Apparently, I've lived in Costa Rica so long now that air conditioning feels very just too much for me. Um, no, I'm wild and woolly today, Sincere. So this morning I had my 5 hour layover after my rescheduled flight and then my other rescheduled flight. And I bought a blanket because I could not find my travel blanket, which I turned out I'd packed in my other bag and it was riding around in the plane. So I spent way too much money for this fleece blanket. I'm in the wheelchair. They've been pushing me around. I'm wrapping myself up in this blanket, looking like some kind of giant, lumpy, weird burrito with a little bit of my head sticking out. Well, the new doctor put me on blood thinners, which I've been saying I don't want to take them because I've had problems with von Wilburns. I've had problems with bleeding disorders before, but he insisted. So I'm sitting there, this big snoring lumpy burrito, waiting my 5 hour thing, and I wake up at one point, and there's a couple of these 20 something airline workers standing next to me, whispering. Um, Yeah, she's really nice. She's really happy that I'm back. They're whispering, "Is she dead? Is she dead? Is she dead?" So here I'm like, with my blanket. And apparently I'm bleeding profusely from my nose and my mouth all over my blanket. So that made for a rather weird awakening that I was there so silently bleeding that they all thought I must be dead. So there was that. I got back in one piece. I've been hearing from a lot of other people that had their flights on American canceled and rescheduled. Apparently, they're having problems with getting fuel oil. I read they're having trouble getting adequate staff numbers. And yesterday there was bad storms in Carolinas. Uh, Cats make me nervous because they're so snaky. Yes, and so they are. She's not. And she got back a ton of toys when I came back. It's one thing I was able to bring from the States for her was cat toys. So, I have to say, I have to give American Airlines both a shout out and a thumbs down. They were excellent about so many things. Anytime some poor gate agent saw me walking like a weeble, wobbling and not falling down, they upgraded all my seats to business class. And one time I got to ride in first class, which I have never in all my years done. No first class. This was a first for me. And that was a lot of fun, except that I snored the entire time. So I took a 5 hour nap this morning and I took a 4 hour nap on the plane. Only to wake up that time not bleeding, but looking out the window and going, why are we circling the Liberia airport? Why are we now over the dry hills due east of Liberia? I still didn't figure out why, but the plane circled a number of times, and usually they're trying to kill time, and I think we were way ahead of schedule. But it just made for really strange waking up. What American did not do so well was honor my ADA accommodations where I needed a wheelchair. This morning started off with a bang. Oh, Aaron, I wish I could fly first class all the time. They treat you differently for sure. Um, But this morning started off pretty horribly. I had to fly to BWI. I got there at almost 3 hours before my flight. There was one gate agent with American taking people. The other people working there were insisting you go do the self check-in. I know a lot of people do that. I don't like to do that if I'm flying back to Liberia, flying to Costa Rica, because it becomes a whole different ballgame, especially post-COVID. They scan in your passport, they make you scan in your ticket showing that you're going to leave Costa Rica at some point. You have to show them on your phone that you have obtained. See if I can pull it up, because I know it's invalid now because it's only good. You have to show them that you filled out the right paperwork and you have a QR code saying from the Costa Rican government saying, yes, you've done your Pase de Salud, you're healthy, you can come in town. Sincere, okay, thanks for reminding your grandmother. So anyway, long story. Oh, Aaron, that's awesome. I'm going to say one thing. Don't ever fly through Charlotte, North Carolina. The only problem I had with my ADA accommodations was in Charlotte. I got chewed out this morning. Well, actually, Charlotte and BWI, but BWI, the airline should have warned me that they do not have wheelchair service available for 5 a.m., and my flight left at 5 a.m. I got there, one gate agent, everybody pushing you to try and do the self check-in. I can't do the self check-in because of you got to prove all these documents, and I'm going back to Costa Rica, and I've crossed my T's and dotted my I's, and I have my Pase de Salud, that I have all the stuff that I need to get through. And so it was a positive crap show. I finally did do self check-in and had one of the gate agents rush over and chew me out. Said, why are you doing self checkout? I said, because I tried to tell you guys and you would not listen. So there was no wheelchair. I had to walk to the gate. TSA wanted me to put my hands over my head while I was standing and get scanned, which I cannot do right now because of my balance. So I fell down one time trying to check in my bags. I fell down in the TSA scanner when they insisted I go through it and would not do the pat down, and ended up doing the pat down anyway. So there's that. And I got to my gate, and there was just no wheelchairs for any of us. We were all making like weebles, wobbling and not falling down or falling down. Because it turns out BWI does not have wheelchair access until 5 a.m. Go figure. Who knew? I thought if the airport was open, they would have wheelchair access. Charlotte was a crap show. I'm just going to come right out and say it. I've never flown through Charlotte before. I haven't flown American Airlines for many, many years now. I fly Delta in and out of here. And if I'm flying out of San Jose, I always fly Spirit, and I've had good luck with Spirit. I love Spirit. But Delta is awesome. I have no problems ever with them. Everything goes smoothly with Delta. So, especially the accommodations. I get to Charlotte. The wonderful flight attendants with American said, we've already called for your wheelchair. You can either wait here at the gate, at the ramp, or you can go up to the gate and wait. After about 10 minutes, I love sightseeing too, Sincere. I like to do that. So anyway, long story short, I went up to the gate. I got up to the gate. The gate agent said, I've already called, and they said they're backed up. They can't possibly come get you right now. If you go down four gates, you'll see it. Well, the problem for me is not that I can't walk so much. It's just that in the airports, the floors are slick as can be. They're polished and wax shiny. And I don't do well on slick floors. Slick surfaces are out of the question for me. So I walked down those 4 slippery gates and got chewed out by the guy running the wheelchair thing. He said, so many of you people who can walk are requesting wheelchairs. And he was just chewing me out up one wall and down the other, and myself and a pile of other people. And we ended up having to wait a long time to get wheelchair access. Well, I was going 3 terminals over, so I was definitely going to need a wheelchair. And there's no trams or anything like in Atlanta, they have a tram that runs all the way around the airport, so it's not as big of a deal as you don't get your wheelchairs. Um, it was the only airline that was direct flight from Boston to Orlando. Yes, Aaron, I did get his name, and I'm going to be writing his airport a very nasty email. And I snapped at him and said, "Look, I had a stroke 6 months ago. This is why I'm not walking. It's not because I'm a fat ass. It's not because of some laziness. It's because I have an actual disability that makes it hard for me to walk on slick surfaces. And I can't walk fast anyway. I mean, my top speed is turtle or maybe sloth. I haven't decided." So that was a little unnerving. And like I said, taking the nap at the gate in front of the 20 somethings, thinking I'm dying because I'm losing a little blood and I'm sleeping and sleeping through everything was kind of funny too. But here's what I love about the Liberia airport. I got here and the girl picked me up and I said, "There's a $20 bill in it if you get me to the front of the lines. If you get me through here at the speed of light, the 20 is yours." And guess what? She did it. Now, granted, if you're in a wheelchair, you're going to go to the disability line anyway, and you're going to get through it real quick. But she took it seriously, and I got out of there and got straight to my poor husband and drug him straight to Costco so we could get groceries. And I'm home. I can see I'm going to have to spend a couple days cleaning. And that was the other thing I want to say, Aaron. Whenever you have these things happen, get the name of whoever it is. I got the names of the people this morning. The gate agent that kept directing me around against what I knew was protocol, and the one who at baggage claim, check your bags in. I was in the line I was told to stand in. She ended it right before she got to me and then went to the other line and started yelling at me, and I fell down over my luggage. So it was not a real good start to the day. And it really disturbs me to see how I was treated. I can sort of walk. Like I said, I walk like a turtle very slowly now because the balance is a real problem. I would hate to see somebody who had, I mean, really serious problems having to deal with the wheelchairs. Now, I don't know how many people use the wheelchairs because they're larger than normal or they don't feel like walking. I don't know anything about that because I've never actually seen anybody like that. Everybody I saw today was taking the wheelchairs, had actual problems that they were trying to mitigate. So I guess I'm going to be contacting the Americans with Disabilities Association too to complain about Charlotte, because that was definitely not right. That should really be a priority. He told me they did not have any employees and they were super shorthanded. And while I have sympathy for that, oh, the wheelchair guys were amazing. Yes, they are amazing, Aaron. And I struggle with that too. How much did you end up tipping them? I ended up tipping everybody $20 because it was pretty amazing, the guys that pushed me. And the one girl. So there's that, except for this guy was talking about screaming about not having enough wheelchairs. He actually had the nerve to ask me for a tip, but I didn't tip him anything. I think I was going to give him $2, but I figured, no, I'm not even going to go there. I'm just not going to give him anything. So I fly a lot living here, and I used to fly a lot having to do with various jobs I've worked, but it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, that flying has changed drastically. When I was a kid back in the 1960s, when you flew, you dressed up, and it was an occasion. They fed you a real meal. Everybody you dealt with was solicitous and nice. Now it's kind of like a giant bus in the sky. And I'm kind of sad to see that happen. But I guess it's because everybody flies now instead of it being a more rarefied thing than it used to be. I don't know, but I know one thing. The next time I go back to the States, I'm bringing my new blanket. I'm going to grab something and show you guys real quick. You'll get a kick out of it. This is my old travel blanket. Everybody asks me, traveling, what the most important thing you could get to bring with you is this, a Walmart fleece blanket. Now, this one is worn and it has some holes, and I have had it 5 or 6 years now. I've had it a long time. I had it with me, but I had it packed in my suitcase, so it did me no good. I'm going to retire it. Like I said, I think it's going to turn into a cat blanket because it's worn out. That is the most useful thing ever. $2.50 at Walmart, at least it was when I bought it. I used it to carry dirty clothes in. I've used it to lay on the beach as a beach towel. I've used it all kinds of different things. A giant thing like that is a giant blanket like that is the most useful thing on the planet when you're trying to travel and you're trying to make everything count. Aaron, I think that's perfectly fine. I did a few for 10. The majority of them I did 20 just because I was seeing them going above and beyond. Aaron, I'm going to have to look at that Vera Bradley and see if I can get that because that would be the best thing ever. The one I got that I paid way too much for, way more than $2.50, is just a gray generic blanket, and it is better made than my little Walmart one. But that's how in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy they say don't travel anywhere without your towel. Well, I don't know about a towel, but I do know I don't travel anywhere now without a blanket. And because it had been a while since I've been traveling, I packed my blanket in the wrong thing. Oh, wow. I think that everybody must be short staffed. We went to a Popeyes to get just a snack one day, my daughter and I, and the Popeyes dining room was closed because they were short staffed. Everywhere I went in Northern Virginia, Maryland, and DC, it seemed like if they weren't short staffed, they had signs up saying that there were problems with the supply chain and there were a lot of things they couldn't get. There were a lot of things I did not get that were on my list this time. And usually I knock my list out the first day. This time it was a little bit different. I was unable to get everything I needed, but I got quite a few. And I have to say, uh, the travel blanket. Okay, I'll have to take a look at that, Aaron, because that would be very useful. One of the things that I'm going to just come out and say, Costa Rica does not exactly encourage you to be a fashion plate. I've struggled to have clothes to put together to wear on this thing because a lot of times I'm wearing the same holy tee. I'm wearing cutoffs. You just don't dress up here. There's no occasion. Beach clothes don't hold up well. So when I started packing, I realized how many things I had were wholly ripped or stained, and it was a tremendous amount. I had to buy almost all new clothes when I went back to the States. And some of the things that I packed that I thought were acceptable, picked them up and was like, oh my God, so many holes, so many rips. So I was really thrilled with Costco. I was able to get a whole Nautica kind of summer wardrobe for very little there, and it was very cute. So there's that. But that's one of the challenges with Costa Rica is when you go back to the States, you have to do the suitcase inside the suitcase. So you have plenty of room to bring back everything you need. You can get a lot of things here, but there's a lot of things that you're better off bringing from somewhere else. Fleece space, 60 by 46. That sounds about the same dimensions of the one I just got. They were trying to sell me on a neck pillow, but I have a pile of neck pillows. I didn't bring one. I'm going to have to do that next time because I surely could have used that today, particularly when I'm sleeping in the plane. I know the people sitting with me probably thought I was some kind of stuck-up snob because I just said, hey, and that was it for the rest of the flight. I was out, cold as a light. I didn't sleep last night at all. The first night after I had the shot, I slept 12 hours, so my sleep is all turned around and screwed up. So I'm going to try to stay awake to my usual 10 o'clock before I go to bed tonight. Travel is such a wonderful thing, but boy, does it wear you out. I can't wait to show you guys all the yarn. I got crazy amounts of yarn. Crazy, crazy. Okay, I'm going to go. I need to take a shower. all kinds of uncombed, unwashed self today after a full day of travel. Which shot did I get? I ended up getting Johnson and Johnson, and that's a whole different story. We could not find it in Maryland or DC. Every time we would find a place and we would show up, because a lot of these places are no longer taking appointments. You see a vaccine clinic run by a church or by a civic organization, and you stop by and um, say, do you have the Johnson and Johnson, which was the one that my critical care pulmo wanted me to have? So I just gave it out. So we were not able to find that anywhere in Maryland or DC, in the general Maryland, DC area. My daughter has moved from Northern Virginia to Maryland. We had to go back into Virginia for me to get the Johnson and Johnson. There are plenty of Johnsons and Johnson shots available in Virginia. I got mine at a Costco. So I was very pleased with that. I love Costco. They always have awesome things. And my daughter has a membership. I did have a membership till I moved here. So I got the shot, and it was supposed to be the last day I was going. I was the day before I was leaving. I tried to get it immediately upon arriving there. I'd made appointments from here. I could not find the Johnson and Johnson. Go figure. Everybody had plenty of AstraZeneca and the Pfizer, but I was not going to be there long enough to get the second shot, so I just skipped that. And I've heard so many horror stories about people who said they had a reaction to the Moderna or the AstraZeneca one or the Pfizer. I didn't even get a chance to see what that was like. So I felt fine the next day. Today I feel weird. I think it's the traveling. Traveling just always takes it out of you. I don't care how carefully you plan. And it was really funny because this time I actually packed food, and I forgot to pack anything to eat on the way there and ended up paying the outrageous airport prices. This time I was organized, and it still didn't work because I passed out. I didn't eat any food. So I had to eat all my food when I got off the plane. So, Aaron, I was noticing that. And I was noticing that there are a lot of people with asthma who aren't catching this, who aren't reacting to the shots as well. So my husband did not react at all to Johnson and Johnson. I didn't react at all. I think what I got going on today, it doesn't have anything to do with that. It has to do with the fact that I couldn't sleep last night, and I had to get up at 1:30 in the morning and get dressed to hit the airport to make that 5 a.m. flight. I don't do well when I miss sleep. So there's that. Now, see, I've missed a ton of stuff. I saw that Todd Chrisley is supposedly suing without a box of Kleenex. I saw that there's a lot of stuff going on in the KJ Truther community. There's just all kinds of stuff. And it was a really nice vacation because I didn't have to think about any of that. I could just say, okay, that is what it is, and I have no relationship with that whatsoever. Using points, finding upgrades, etc. Aaron, I think that's a lot of it. We're getting ready to do the whole thing with the points ourselves. We've been collecting the points. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I think that we're going to have to redo how we're traveling because we're very, very stuck on using Delta. They've been nothing but wonderful. The people at American were wonderful. The people on the ground at American aren't so wonderful. Some of the people when you check in. That was an issue for me because they didn't scan any of my travel documents when I got here to Costa Rica, where the Immigrazione people would automatically have scans of my passport. They would have a scan of the QR code, so they would know what the QR code was before I walked up there with it. And they would have had a scan of my return ticket. They had none of that because the American gate agent did not do that. And that's the first time I've ever had that. And it's the first time I've ever had hassle getting back in. So there was that. Fortunately for me, I had everything sitting in the email box on my cell phone. I was able to prove what I was doing. And it's a evolving situation traveling here because Costa Rica is getting ready to drop the additional insurance component of travel here, which is a very expensive component, and no longer require it if you can prove you're vaccinated. If you have your card starting August the 1st, there's no additional charge for the insurance when you do your Pass de Salud, your health pass. You'll be able to put on there, hey, I got vaccinated, scan your vaccine card, and go. Now, I hear a lot of people complaining about vaccine passports, but I'm just going to come out and say it. We had vaccine passports when my husband was in the military. We had the yellow international travelers vaccine thing. And it's not some big scary government thing trying to seek to take away your rights. It's the way it's been done for many, many years with the government. If you travel certain places, they're going to have requirements for you to have certain vaccines. They may require yellow fever vaccines. I know if you're going to some of the countries in Africa and the Asia, you have to have some really strange vaccines. And so whenever I see a former friend who's a heavy duty Christian screeching about the vaccine passport, I just slapping myself in the head, just laughing. It is what it is. Anyway, I'm going to go. I'm going to climb in the shower. I need it. And you should see the pile of laundry I brought back with me and the pile of laundry my husband has managed to accumulate while I was gone. Here's the funny thing. He kept himself busy with Breaking Bad. I introduced him to Breaking Bad recently. He had sort of kind of seen a couple of episodes, but he'd never watched them in order or anything else. He started watching them with me. And while I was gone, we were 3 episodes into season 3. He is almost at the end of the entire season and ready to move on to El Camino and see what happens with Jesse and then do Better Call Saul. He got really hooked while I was gone. I guess that's okay. Whatever it takes to get you through the night. Okay, you guys, I'm going to see you later. I'm going to go take my shower and I'm going to lay down yet again. I hope I can sleep tonight. I did a lot of sleeping today. And see, she's grooming herself back there. So I've got my cat companion too. Okay, see you later.